write and own who you are. You do not become a writer because you sold 700 books or you become a New York bestseller. Why am I probably? Hey guys, welcome back to the Power Closet, a space for perspectives where conversation meets style. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Tumi and I make videos on conversation, fashion, travel, and all sorts of stuff in between. But this is really just a safe space to do what we want. So I'm having a bit of a spontaneous moment. I was just like cleaning my room and like I was clearing out my room and something came to my mind and I was like, you know what? I'm going to film a very spontaneous video and put this up because I think this is a topic that everyone can benefit from. So today we're going to be talking about self-acceptance and owning what you do. So clearing out my room, I'm having a good time and something just like a thought comes to my mind about, to me, you're always waiting for the next thing to happen or like something big to happen before you finally accept what you do. And then I was like, huh? And the thought that kept, so obviously this is obviously the Holy Spirit, but the thought that kept like ruminating in my mind was, you wait till you have this specific achievement before you can own what you do. Like, and not even just that, you have this big dream in your mind, like, oh, I can't wait till I do this X, Y. Like, okay, for example, let me give you a practical example. Like when I was younger, I wanted to study economics and then I didn't. I studied engineering and it was a very fantastic course. Like I grew to accept like that was what I was going to do, but I actually never called myself a chemical engineer. I never did, and I don't think I've ever called myself that. And then it carried on and I was like, okay, when I start working, like I wanted to be an investment banker, but I didn't start off in that part of the business. I started off in a different part of the business. So they'll be like, oh, you're an investment banker. And because I wasn't doing a specific role, so I wasn't doing M&A, I felt like I couldn't call myself that. So I was like, no, when I do M&A, I will call myself an investment banker. And then I became one, and turns out that I didn't like it. So I was like, I can't call myself an investment banker then because I don't like it. So instead I used to say I work in investment banking. I would never say I was an investment banker. Then I left banking and Abba started saying, you're an entrepreneur. Like he's always called me like someone who builds things. So he was like, you're an entrepreneur. I was like, I haven't really made 700 million this month, so I can't call myself an entrepreneur. And it's like, then I was like, this is wild. Now I understand the thoughts. Like, why am I doing that? Like, why am I waiting for something big to happen before I can own who God is calling me? If God is calling me an entrepreneur, why can't I just say I'm an entrepreneur? Why do I have to wait till I make 700 million? Even if I go back into like a big corporate firm tomorrow and God still calls me an entrepreneur, I'm not going to be an investment banker or a tech worker. Like, I'm going to accept who he calls me. Why am I waiting for something big in my mind before I call myself what he's calling me? And then it just got me thinking that there's so many of us that do this. You know deep down you're a creative, but because you are not, in your mind you've made these milestones that I don't even know where you got it from. You've made all these things about what will make you qualify as a creative, so you can't call yourself a creative. Like, let's even shelve faith for a second, you know, because it's not even about God saying. Let's say deep down you just get the sense that you're called to make movies. You're a film producer and you do some short films here and there, you post it on YouTube, it's getting some traction, but you're nowhere near Paramount. Because you're nowhere near Paramount and because you haven't gotten some crazy award, you're like, I can't call myself a film producer until I get this. Or you're making music, you know that you're called to the music industry. You're making music, you're doing really well, you're getting some traction, doing some gigs and all of this stuff. When people ask you what you do, you will mumble some stuff.
You're not quite finished.
Mumble some words. But you cannot call yourself an artist. You can't like go out and actually own what you do and say, I'm a songwriter, I also like do this, I also do that. Like you can't say it. And I'm making this video to kind of, first of all, just tell you that you're not alone. Someone asked me what I did a few weeks ago, and so they were going around the class and they were like, oh, can you tell us what you do? And she was like, oh, what do you do? And I started scratching my head. I was like, I guess I'm an entrepreneur. Shambles. Imagine me being in an interview and they ask me and I say, I guess I'm an entrepreneur. Like, why did I say that? She now looked at me and she was like, you guess? And I was like, yeah, I guess I am. And she's like, why do you seem unsure? Because in my mind, until I had made XYZ, until Power Closet was ABC, I could not call myself that. I needed something a bit weightier on my chest for me to call myself that. Now you see, I don't believe that. That's just not true. Like, it's not true. Accept yourself and own what you do. You do not become it because you make a certain amount of money or a certain amount of followers. Step into who you know you are, and the rest will follow. And I like had that light bulb moment, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, you know what, I'm owning this, and I really don't care what you think, because as long as God calls me that, I'm calling myself that with audacity, and I really don't care. So I hope this video reaches the person that it's supposed to reach, because it really was a light bulb moment for me. And I'm like, why do we all do this? Like, well, not why do we all do this, but quite a few people do it, where until they hit a certain milestone, they're not able to call themselves something. So in the faith world, obviously it's a little bit different, right? Well, yes and no. In a sense, like, okay, so this is more faith-based in the sense that there's like the fivefold ministry: the apostle, the prophet, the pastor, the evangelist, and the teacher. If Abba calls you a prophet or an apostle, I won't go and put on my Instagram apostle. Are you okay? No, because you have to be ordained into that office, right? So that's a different ball game entirely. And even though you're walking in the gift, the apostolic gift, you really have to be ordained into the role of an apostle or a prophet. I wouldn't, like, you can prophesy, but you haven't been ordained into the role yet. Like, you haven't laid hands on you and done like a partition, etc. So that's a little bit different. So that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to what we do like on a day-to-day basis. Okay, I'm a mom, I'm a writer, that writer one. Because there's this struggling, you know, there's this, and I'm not trying to insult anybody here because I'm also a writer, right? There's this whole vibe on, like, if you say you're a writer and you're not like a, I don't know, J.K. Rowling, a Joyce Meyer, or someone that is well known, the first impression is, oh my gosh, she must be eating like grass or something. Like, there's this struggling writer vibe that people are always like taking piss out of. I understand that, but there are also writers that are extremely successful. Obviously, there's only one J.K. Rowling, and I can't remember the guy that wrote Game of Thrones. There's only one of those people. But just because you haven't hit their level of success doesn't mean that you're not a writer. Like, I'm a writer. Yeah, I don't have a book yet. I mean, I'm writing one now, but it doesn't mean that I'm not a writer. I'm a writer, and some people will read my work, they wouldn't appreciate it. Doesn't make me less of a writer. Doesn't make you less of a writer. Just because you're not getting praises from 1 million people does not make you less of a writer. So what is this? Why am I pegging who I'm going to, like, why am I pegging the gifts that God has given me to people that I probably will never even meet? What is the point of living a life where you're stuck? Like, you're constant. It's actually a subtle way of waiting for people's approval before you own yourself. Low-key. It's just that it's packaged in a way that you will not really notice it. Yeah, and I was like, I am absolutely not doing that. So let's try something. This is supposed to be a short video, and we're already almost hitting 9 minutes. So we're going to own today. Let's do something a little bit different on TPC. Please pause the video now, and I want you to write down all the things that you're good at, and low-key all the things that you want to call yourself. So if you write down on a piece of paper, I'm a writer. If you dance, I'm a dancer. If you do art, I'm an artist. If you do short film and only 2 people have watched it in the last 5 months, I'm a film producer. If you bake and no one has ever bought your cake, I'm a baker. If you are a pastor and you've only ever preached 1 sermon, I'm a pastor. If you're an entrepreneur, you've not sold $1 worth in goods, I'm an entrepreneur. If you're a banker and you haven't made your first deal, I'm a banker. So I want you to write down every single thing that you call yourself. Don't pigeonhole yourself to one thing. Like, for example, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a writer, I'm daddy's baby girl. As in God, you know, I have to always slip that in. Write and own who you are. You do not become a writer because you sold 700 books or you become a New York best-selling. Why am I struggling to say it? And that's what I'm going to be. So what is this nonsense? Is it best-selling author? New York Times. That's it. I was wondering that there's a word missing. New York Times best-selling author. You don't, right? You're a writer even though all you do is write in your notes app or you put it on your blog. Like, let's own this. Let's own this. Yeah, I really believe that. Can you hear that? Okay, now it's driving me crazy. Anyway, please send this to someone who you think would benefit from this kind of content. This is actually what Power Closet is about, having these kind of conversations where we're like, why on earth do we do this? We need to stop doing it. We're going to own who we are, because why would I live a life where I'm constantly chasing a high or constantly chasing something that I cannot actually do? Like I might not even be able to get a hold of. It's a waste of my time. So as I am, I accept myself in my entirety, and I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't roll with it. That's your business. I like me. I'm not offending anyone. I'm just doing all that I'm called to be. But that's it today, guys, and I hope this video touched you, inspired you. Please like all my other videos. I don't always do just serious stuff. Like, we have style, we have travel, we have me just enjoying myself, but really it's a platform to show you how to live life to the fullest. That's pretty much it. And I love having conversations like this. Is my bread and butter. This is what I love. But please subscribe so I can do more of this. Bye guys. Mwah.